still in the first book of Kings. And this is what God is speaking to me. And I want to enlighten you today about how your blessing is going to come. I know it's going to rain down. Yes, He is going to rain down your blessings. Who believes that today? But here is the tactic He's going to use. Are you all ready? And it says in 1 Kings chapter 18, verses 41. And it reads, and Elisha
said unto Ahab, get thee up, eat and drink,
watch this.
for there is a sound of abundance.
For there is a sound, underline the word sound, of abundance, of plenty, rain coming. And God was speaking to me as I was sitting there. And He told me that the only way your blessings are going to come, see, we want to see things. Am I right? Don't we want to see things? Because we're human beings. If we don't see it, we don't believe it. It's a lie. But the Bible says what? Faith come by underlying sound. You got to hear something first before you see something. Y'all ain't with me today. Let me just back y'all up 100 steps, because y'all got ahead of yourself. Before you see it, you got to hear it. Before God lets you see the blessing, before it manifests, He has to speak a word. You have to hear that word. You have to be on the same sound frequency of the Spirit. It's too deep for y'all. If it ain't too deep, let me see some of y'all move somewhere. Come a little closer, because I'm about to get a little deeper with this. See, y'all want to see some stuff. Y'all want to see some change. You want to see this and you want to see that. Well, God, watch it. Well, God, I don't see my blessing yet. The pastor prophesied, the prophetess prophesied, and God, I don't see nothing yet. You know why you don't see it, Sister Vicky? Because you didn't hear Him. When He was trying to speak to you, you was busy doing something else. You have to hear the sound first. You have to hear what He is saying, what He is speaking, so you can tell it to somebody else what God is getting ready to do.
That's too much for y'all. He heard it first, then He told His servant what He heard. Go look, because this is what God just spoke to me. This is what I just heard, a sound.
Yes.
Y'all quiet. Too much for y'all. But y'all know me, I like to go deep.
Come on. Come on.
See, before you see that blessing, sister, what did God speak to you? What sound did you hear? What did He say to you when you had your head on the pillow? What did He speak to you when you were meditating on His word? What did He say?
Come on now.
What was the sound? How do you think we prophesied?
We hear what He say. If He doesn't show it to us in the Spirit, He's going to speak it. And then we prophesy according to the proportion of our faith. We got to hear a sound. We got to hear something first. What did God say? I know He said something to some of you. He said something to you, Amanda. He spoke to you and He told you what He was going to do to you for you, Nadine. He spoke. You heard a sound. Am I talking to you, Miranda? What did God say to you? And don't doubt Him when He says it, even though you don't see it yet, Pastor Vicky. God said He already spoke, and you heard what He said. You heard the sound, and all you're doing is waiting to see but I heard what you said, and I take you at your word, and I believe you, and I'm going to step out in faith because your word says faith cometh by hearing first, not by seeing first. I heard you, God. I heard you. I heard you. And see, when God speaks and when we hear what he says, just like the prophet said, I hear the sound of an abundance of rain. He knew God had spoken. He knew what he heard. And nothing can shake his faith. Nothing can make him doubt what God said, even though he didn't see anything yet. And that's how we need to be. When God speaks a word to me, guess what? God told me a long time ago, Audrey, go on what I said to you. Go on what I show you in the spirit. I don't care what they say. And when you tell them this and you tell them that, and they're shaking their head saying, no, no, no. He always said, what did I say? You heard me. Some folks will try to trick you. I know what God said, but you will stand right there and you will lie. No, that's no. Let me tell you something. God is not a man that should lie or could lie. As a matter of fact, he don't know how to lie. And if he spoke it, that settles it. God has spoken some things to me, and I'm still waiting to see it. And as he's spoken to me, he showed it to me in a vision. Do I see the manifestation yet? No, but he spoke it. And I heard his voice, and I heard his sound, and I believed what he said. Let me tell you, when you have God, when you can believe, when you can, and when you do believe what he said the first time, even though you don't see nothing, Eureka, if he said it, that's it. After that point right now, I don't have to see it. I know his voice. My sheep know my voice. And if you don't know his voice, and if you don't believe what he has said, you must not be his sheep. And a stranger he will not follow. I'm to the point where I don't have to see nothing. Just speak to me, God. Like they said, speak, Lord. Your servant hear it. When he speaks, and I hear his voice, and I hear the sound, I believe him. Because I know the manifestation of what I heard in the spirit will manifest in the natural. See, y'all don't want this preacher today.
Yes, we do. Come on now.
So, before you see a thing, Pastor Vicky, Miss Sister Miranda, Bridget, before you see a thing, Catrice and Parish, you must what? You must first hear. You gotta hear what the Spirit, Book of Revelation, hear what the Spirit said. Hear what the Spirit said unto the church. It's not what you see. Check your hearing now. Not your vision. Check your hearing out. Are you hearing God? Are you in a position to hear God? Have you positioned yourself? Like the Bible said, and he put his head between his knees. He positioned himself. Have you positioned yourself to even hear from God first before you try to see something? Y'all had enough? Y'all had enough? It's good, man. How you know it's good? You gotta hear him first. But Pastor, you already said that we got it. I know you probably got it, but some of them don't have it. You have to hear him first. What is he speak to you? What did he speak to your spirit? And the prophet said, and I hear the sound of an abundance of rain. And so he told what he heard. He heard the sound of an abundance of rain that was coming. And my wife just rehearsed with you all, and I'm not going to take you back to that. I'm just going to stay here for a while. That he heard that sound, and we read the story where he spoke, and he told his servant to go look. The servant went and said, I don't see nothing. But did that make the prophet doubt God? No. Why? Because he knew what he heard. So he sent the servant back, go, I know what I heard. Go look again. And when he went, now here comes the rain. Watch this. In a small little fifth. It was small, but it came. Watch this, watch this. Y'all didn't get it. A small little man's, find that verse from you, parish. The small little fist, a small little hand. Watch this. But an abundance of rain. How could a small little cloud, the size of a man's fist, produce the abundance of rain? Why? Because God has the power to do what he wants to do, how he wants to do it, anytime he wants to do it. It might have been a small fist, but in that small fist, God had an abundance of rain wrapped up, tied up, tangled up with your name on it. The blessing might come, and it might look small. Don't despise the day of small beginnings, says the Bible. But God will produce out of that small fish an abundance of rain. See, we get some things from God, and once it comes, we may not like how it looks. I'm finished now. But if we hold on to it, we will see the blessing inside that thing before you despise it, before you throw it away, before you curse it and say, this is what I waited on. I waited on all these years for this mess. You hear some of y'all, that's what y'all saying. I'm in your business. Shoot, I should have just went on. Shoot, what is this? I could have done this myself. I waited on you. Y'all talk like that. Let me tell you something. I got this brother. We know this brother. And this brother, little job situation. And he had a nice, very, very reputable job. As hook or crook, you know how folks on the job, they do stuff, they lie, and you get fired. Okay, that happened to him. And so my wife and I prophesied to him. He called us on the phone all the time. We prayed, prophesied on the phone with him. And we prophesied the same thing to him over and over again. Sometimes things may change when we prophesied to him. But one of the prophecies I gave him, I told him, God said, go get another job until he works on the one you're waiting on. He didn't want to do it. I know he did. My wife told him the same thing. Anyhow, out of obedience, he broke down and he humbled himself. And he just went on and got a little regular job. That joker called me Saturday and said, guess what happened? I said, what? He said, I did what you and your wife said. Went on and just took any old job until God did what he was going to do. He said, I'm so glad on that prophet. I said, why? He said, because 2 other jobs called him back and say, we want you to come in for an interview. We want to hire you. 2 of them. Wow. He obeyed the prophet and the prophetess when we said, go just pick up a job. And through his obedience, God is now honoring the prophecy. You all better shout in this place. See, sometimes God has to test your level of pride to see would you take this before I give you that. Y'all don't want to hear this today. Let me see what you humble yourself and take this, even though I know you don't want to do it, before I open up the door and give you this. See, some of us need to humble ourselves God want to see, can you humble down a little bit? I know you used to have this kind of job and that kind of job, but can you take this little low job and swallow your pride? And in your obedience, now I'm going to start to turn things around for you. Y'all don't hear me today. And so God is saying, your blessings before manifestations, you have to hear what I'm speaking to you first. Before I open up and show you what I really have to bless you with. Come on and stand to your feet and give God a hand clap of praise. Come on and bless him in this place. Put your hands together and come on and bless God in this place today.
Come on, you love the praise. Come on, amen. We're going to hear the word on today. Hallelujah. We're going to hear the word on today. Hallelujah. I don't know about you, but I claim it. It's getting ready to rain.